so it has been a while since we sat down and did a Spawn video. Now I don't know truthfully I'm gonna do Spawn Sundays. I might just drop these videos randomly, but I kind of want to go ahead and get back into the coverage of Spawn. Now we're going to pick up with Spawn 88, 89, and also issue number 90. Now this was a 3-part story arc where it's really more Spawn kind of going in a brand new direction. And let me explain, because around this time in Spawn comics, Spawn was no longer trying to work for heaven nor hell. He was technically going on his own path. And the reason why, because he kind of realized that for heaven and hell, they need the souls of humans to kind of help for the big war to come down the road. And so he kind of felt like it's not fair that for humans, they don't have the right to judge themselves to kind of figure out where they belong, hell or heaven. And so for Spawn, he's kind of playing that middle game at the moment. And so these next 3 issues we're going to cover is really more him kind of showing us him being the middleman, not trying to help out heaven, but also not trying to help out hell either. Now, I should say right off the bat that these 3 issues might be hard for some people to hear or to even read when it comes to certain things happening in these books. And let me explain, because for issue number 88, I'm going to tell you right now, we're dealing with child abuse, which honestly is horrible. But in the opening pages of this book, we do pick up with a young girl. Now, this young girl name is Mary. And when it comes to Mary, her and her mom have moved with a guy who's basically her stepdad, but he's very abusive. And so we kind of learn here that she's currently locked in her room because he says, listen, what you did earlier, you need to pay back for what you did. And so stay in your room until the boxing match is done. And so for her, she's kind of scared at the moment because right now her mom is not around. Her mom works night, which means she is technically defenseless. This man can do almost anything he wants to do with her without anybody possibly stopping him. Now Spawn is there and Spawn is watching outside the home. Now we have to transition over to Cogliastro, and I really hope I pronounce his name correctly. I always feel that I'm saying completely wrong, so from now on, I'm calling him Cog. Now for Cog, he's meeting up with 2 other characters. One of them is known as Epiphany. Now for Epiphany, she is representing heaven because it's right now a meeting about Spawn, because both sides still want to use Spawn for the big war to come down the road. Now for Cog and also Epiphany, they're kind of wondering who's coming out of hell or who's going to represent hell at this meeting. Now, this is also bringing in a new character who's going to be involved in Spawn comics from this point on. But before we're able to learn more about this new character, we kind of jump back over to Mary, right? And when we do, we kind of learn what led into Mary's supposed punishment, which is completely stupid. But for Mary, what happened was she was playing with her doll. And while playing with her doll, she knocked over the antenna. As we all know, that back in the old days was very important, but when it happened, he lost a signal to the boxing match that he was watching on the current channel. And so he got very upset. He grabbed the girl and locked her in the bedroom. Now, when he did that, she's kind of like, okay, I got to stay in here until he figures out what my punishment is going to be. Now, for Mary, we do learn here that her stepfather had kids in the past, but the question is now, what happened to those kids? Now, her mom tells her, do not ever ask your stepfather what happened to his previous children. But on top of that, don't ever pull that picture out ever again that she had found. Now, when she goes to her closet, she does see the 2 kids that look very similar to the ones she saw in that picture, but then they disappear. But now we kind of have to jump back over to the meeting between Cog, Epiphany, and also Mammon. Now, here's the thing, because Mammon is going to be a character that is going to pop up a whole lot more in our coverage over Spawn. Now, for Mammon, he's kind of like, listen, you're telling me, Cog, that Spawn had quit, but technically he is a hell spawn, so he belongs to me. He belongs to us in hell. Now, here's the thing, because Cog's saying that's not true, because right now, yes, He is a Hellspawn, but he's on Earth. He's a free agent because he did not use all his necroplasm to go back over to Earth, or Hell, sorry. And so it's him saying like he's a free agent. Nobody owns him at the moment. But for Mammon, he does not care because Spawn is a Hellspawn. He should be coming back over to our side no matter what. Now, with all that being said, you didn't have the waitress walk up. And I kind of felt sad for the waitress here because as soon as she appears, you have Mammon use his demonic powers to kind of make her begin to fall in love with him, wanting to be with him. And of course, it's him trying to trick her for his own personal fun. Now, you do have Epiphany try to use her own abilities, or really just say, hey, listen, don't trust that man, to hopefully save the life of the waitress. But we do kind of transition right back over to Mary. Now, when we do, it's really more of Mary kind of realizing that her punishment is coming very soon. She's scared to cry. She's scared to sleep. She's scared to even move at the moment. And so right now, she's just sitting there hoping for the best. Now, luckily for her, help does arrive, but it's not her mother, it's Spawn. He has been watching the house the entire time, and he kind of realized that her stepfather, he has to go. This man is truly evil. And so you do have her stepfather turn around and is then confronted by Spawn. But getting back over to the meeting, you do have Cog, Epiphany, and also Mammon finish their dinner. Now, when they do, it's really more of Cog saying like, listen, I can't help you at all. Spawn had officially quit. But on top of that, with them no longer trying to help out heaven nor hell, it basically ruins both y'all plans for the far future. Now, here's the thing, because for Mammon, he's saying like, listen, you're right now trying to play a dangerous game. And technically, if you believe that you're still off limits because of a past deal, that past deal is no longer around, which means you're no longer off limits. I'm now going to use all the different people I have under my control to come after you. No matter where you go, you won't be safe. It's him kind of hoping to scare Cog, to basically use Cog being scared to hopefully have Spawn come out of hiding and hopefully have Spawn rejoin his side. Now, the rest of this issue is really more of us kind of jumping back over to Mary. And when we do learn that her stepfather was killed off by Spawn. Now, you have the police arrive and they kind of realize the girl is innocent because she was still locked inside her room. And her mom just came back home from working the night shift to find her dead husband in the house. And so after that, she called the police and they call in two detectives, Sam and Twitch. Now, luckily for Spawn, this works out perfectly. And the reason why, because those two guys, they know Spawn. They know how powerful he truly is. So you have these two characters say, you know what? It looks like he had killed himself on accident. So technically, there is no killer here. So let's go ahead and move on. But for Spawn, what he did was, once again, he helped out another child who was being abused by an adult. And that right there kind of shows the good side of Spawn. But as we get into Spawn issue number 89, we're really picking up with Spawn going after a character known as Sterling Mason. Now, for Sterling Mason, he's this rich guy who's not really important for the overall story of Spawn, but he's being used as another example of the idea that there are people out there who are horrible people, but it's Spawn saying, no, I'm going to be the judge who decide where your soul should possibly go. And so when it comes to Mason, it's Spawn going after him because, well, Mason is a rich person with a lot of power. And he used that power for evil, where he does have different people kind of help him to gather different types of media of underage pornography. And so because of that, it's Spawn saying like, no, you gotta go. But before you go, I need you to go ahead and confess what you do here. And so you do have Mason go ahead and confess, but it's Spawn saying, okay, now take your gun and shoot yourself in the head because you know what you did is completely wrong. And just like that, there goes Mason. But once again, it's Spawn saying, no, I'm going after people and I'm going to be be the judge, but at the same time, I need them to go ahead and confess what they have done over time to help me decide what should happen to them. Now, once you do have Spawn go ahead and deal with Mason, you then have Spawn head over to the Hellspawn Archives. Now, this library is technically being used by Cog, where he kind of goes back over different books that tell different stories of previous Hellspawns. The only problem is that for our Spawn, once he does arrive, he is then confronted by Mammon. And for Mammon, he's all like, listen, it's time for you and I to have a one-on-one talk with one another. While you have that conversation going on, we do see a woman arriving in New York, and she does get into a taxi. So we're kind of building up to the idea of a character possibly coming into the picture to go after Spawn very soon. But getting back over to the conversation between Spawn and also Mammon, it's really more Mammon saying like, listen, let's sit down and have a quick talk because I need you to understand your place in all of this. Because to him, Spawn is a Hellspawn to be used in a future war coming up very soon against Heaven. And that's really it. But right now, it's him kind of realizing that our Spawn, Al Simmons here, is saying like, no, I no longer work for you because I realize you guys need me to achieve y'all goal. Without me, you're then unable to achieve that goal. Now, for Mammon, it's also him trying to establish how powerful he truly is. And the reason why I'm saying that because when it comes to Malbolgia, who is a Hell Lord technically, he says that guy right there is a fly compared to me. I'm way more powerful than he is. And so I'm somebody you should be scared of. But here's the thing, for Spawn, he's not really scared at all. And here's the reason why. Because Spawn has a dimensional lance. And with this lance, he's kind of like, listen, you're not really able to come after me. Now, here's the thing, because remember, lances are currently used by angels as a way to hunt down Hellspawns. And apparently for Al Simmons being a Hellspawn, he should not be able to hold it, but he can. And so with them doing that, it's him saying like, yeah, originally, you were possibly more powerful than I am, but right now, holding this lance, you're nowhere to the level you should be at when it comes to fighting against me. And matter of fact, you also have Al say, you need me, like hell needs me. And so without me, you're unable to achieve y'all goal. And so you didn't have Al go ahead and scar the face of Mammon. Now this scar will pop up over and over again in future storylines down the road. It becomes very important. But it's him saying, hell is your realm, but earth is mine. And nobody is able to come after me in my own realm. And so you didn't have Spawn just walk away. And so when it comes to issue number 90, it's really more a Spawn continuing to judge people. And so we see Spawn go to this abandoned house. Now, when he does arrive at this abandoned house, he finds 3 boys standing over a dead body. Now, here's the thing, because it's not Spawn saying like, yeah, I already know it's you 3 guys who had killed her off. Instead, it's more of him saying like, how about this? I'm going to ask each of y'all to sit down and actually tell me what went down tonight. I want to see who can tell me the actual truth here. And the thing is, for Spawn, he already knows the honest truth, but he wants to see which boy will go out of their way to tell the actual truth. And so we do see Spawn kind of just stand there and kind of like, okay, you go first. And the first boy say, hey, listen, we are innocent boys who just come here to hang out. And the problem was that when we had arrived at this house, we saw 5 black boys standing over her dead body. They were the ones who had killed her off. And so if you are looking for the real killers, then go out there and find them, because most likely they're still nearby for you to handle. Now, the second boy tries his best to tell a different type of story, where he does kind of say like, hey, we were going to, sexually assault her, but then she tried to resist us. And when it came to Danny, he got very upset about the idea of her trying to fight back. And so he felt like the best way to handle her was to go ahead and just kill her off, which he did. And so for Spawn, he's kind of like, So that's the story you want to go with now. Okay, cool. So now it's your turn. And he looks over to the third boy, better known as Danny, who's right now trying to clear his name. Now, the third boy, Danny here, he says, listen, I'm completely innocent. The only thing I do is just deal drugs on the side to make some money. But I was told to come over to this house to deliver some drugs. When I had arrived at this house, these two guys had already killed off the young girl. They gave me the knife to try to frame me to say I was the one who had killed her off, because now my fingerprints are all over the knife. And so it's Danny saying, like, I'm completely innocent. It was these two who had killed her off. And so for Spawn, he's kind of like, you know what? I have the best way to handle this entire situation. Because you had Spawn tell Danny, okay, if you're telling me that they were the ones to kill her off, then you have to kill them as a way to judge them for the crimes that they had committed. Now, at first, you have Danny kind of like, should I go ahead and kill these guys off? But it's him saying to himself, like, you know what? Yeah. You two deserve for what you had did to her. And so you had Danny just go ahead and begin to stab the two other people with him. Now, after doing all of that, you then have the two boys once again claim that they are innocent, that it was Danny who had killed her off. They had only held her, and that was really it. And so Spawn says, oh, trust me, I already know. You see, I'm letting you guys go off easy, but Danny here, no. You see, he will get off a whole lot worse than you guys will. He grabs Danny and they go upstairs, and most likely, knowing Spawn, he killed off that guy for killing off the young girl. And this is where we're going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.